And we're off and going. So, as I said, I'm Kelly Schwartz, CEO of Schwartz Consulting Group. Want to talk to you today about a couple things that are going on and that we want you to be aware of. One of the first things that's pretty exciting that we have for those of you who have dental intel. Let me share the screen here. Share screen, share. So you should be seeing dental intel right now. Yes? Okay.
Yep.
So one of the great things now that we have in here is a new ability. Dental intel in the past was one-way communication. If you had your practice management software, EagleSoft, Dentrix, or Open Dental, any notes that you put in dental intel were only in dental intel. The notes from your practice management software would come over. But now it's two-way communication. In other words, when I make a note on a particular patient, and I have it in HIPAA form right now, but if I want to make a note on this particular patient for anything or creating a follow-up, it will now import directly into your practice management software. And how you go about doing that is by clicking right here on the little bell and this patient note setting, you want to click push notes. So now when I record a note about recare or past due billing, anything that's non-clinical, those notes will go back into your practice software tonight when they cancel. So that's a really exciting little tool. The other thing we want to make sure that you're doing because you've been closed is going down here to your clinical hours. Let's say, for example, you closed on or about March 15th. You're going to want to go back to March, whatever date you think you closed. I'll pick the 13th in this case. And you're going to want to go back here and adjust your hours by putting in that you were actually had 0 hours for each provider up until the date that you plan on reopening. If you've been seeing sporadic new patients or sporadic emergency patients, I apologize, go ahead and take a look at your schedule, and let's say collectively during this time frame you were open 12 hours. Just pick one day where you're open 6 and another day you were open 6, so that when we're looking at your provider pulse and we're able to see what your production per hour is or any of the key metrics that we like to evaluate as it relates to hours, we want to get them as close to accurate as we can, because we had a timeout. You know, we got kicked to the curb mid-March. Some of you are already open. Some are in the process of opening. We want to make sure we get as best we can with your hours. You can go back a little bit, and again, the hours are patient hours. They're not clock hours. So if your office was open and you were doing training and you were, you know, cleaning and prepping or whatever you were doing, but you weren't seeing patients, that's 0 hours. If you saw 2 patients for 2 hours today and you want to put 2 hours in and it was only on the doctor's side, then do that. But make it as accurate as you can. Get the ballpark smaller so it's as close to accurate as you can. The other great feature that we've added, back last month, roughly, we gave you the option with our help from our friends at Dental Intel and Local Med. They offered for our clients that are on Dental Intel, or if you didn't have either, you got 1 month free or up until June on Local Med until we reopen. If you had neither service, you could pick one or the other free until June. So you've got about a week to get that started. You can reach out to me privately and I can help you. But what this feature allows you to do, and we have our webinars on YouTube, but when I click on a patient's name, for example, one of the new cool features, let's say I make a phone call to them regarding their overdue recall. So I've had my follow-up, it's regarding past due hygiene, and I want to give them a call. Once I call them and let's say I leave a message for Dana, hey Dana, give me a call regarding your appointment. And by the way, I've sent you a link regarding your appointment. So let's say I want to schedule you a new hygiene appointment. The other new feature we now have here is we can edit the wording. So we can help you with the wording, because this was written by a techie, not by a wordsmith. So we can help you with some better wording in this. For example, I want to schedule a restorative. This is kind of rough. Hey, Mike, you have some dental work that needs to be taken care of. Give us a call. That's not the phrasing we want. So we can edit this, which is also a new feature. Now, what happens when I send these people this link, they get the option to schedule an appointment at times you've set aside. Now, we're only advising right now that you schedule your cleanings, both new patients, adults, or children, and we set up those times that you want to give access to with your patients. So let's say I have 2 hygienists with 8 hours a day each. I may pick 2 hours with Lisa and 2 hours with Allison that I'm going to make available. Your patients can only see the openings we've made available. So I now have the ability at any time at my convenience, because you sent me the link, to click on this and make the appointment. You instantaneously, within 3 seconds, your office will get an email that Anna made an appointment on Friday the 29th at 2 o'clock. So there's some great tools that are now available to you with local med scheduling, but you've only got about a week to react to that. You would not be under contract. We're picking up and voiding the $1,000 installation fee, and you get a lower monthly fee because you're a client of ours and working with Dental Intel. So we can help you with that. So the notes that are being pushed, the ability for local med to send those links and to customize the wording, having it on Facebook and your website for online scheduling to be available, are all really big pluses. Remember to go in and update your hours so that your information is accurate. So those are just a few of the things we wanted to share with you that are really important, in our opinion, to help you get to the next level for your practice. And for those of you who are maybe new to hearing me or Dana speak, or just want information from us, you can reach out to us privately and we can do some one-on-one with you, and I can go more into detail. If you go to our YouTube page on our Facebook, and you go to our business page, which is kellyschwartz.com, and you go to the YouTube icon. On the YouTube icon, here are our past webinars that we've done. And later today or tomorrow, today's webinar will be there as well for you to be able to review at your convenience. Okay? So that being said, I want to give you the information you really came here for, and that is the rock star herself, Dana Moss. Dana is the CEO of PPO Dental Consulting, and all I can tell you is I met Dana out in Utah, where I was a key speaker for Dental Intel, doing some training for coaches out there, and we picked up a bunch of coaches that we actually coach. And Dana it had a mutual friend of ours that introduced us, one of our good friends and coaches, Melinda Hurryford, out of California. And Melinda and Dana were sitting there having a glass of wine, and we got to talking, and Dana was kind of laying back, and we got to know each other a little bit. And we were putting on one of our CEO webinars here in Charlotte. And I said, well, Dana, tell me about what you do. And I talked with her and got to know her, and I thought, wow, this lady really knows her stuff. So I invited Dana, which she was the first person I've ever invited to be a guest speaker at our class. And I hadn't heard her speak. And man, did she rock that room. Everybody, she was like the only girl on a Navy ship. Every person in the office wanted to talk to her. And she was just really popular because her content was awesome, her delivery was awesome, and she really knows her stuff. And it only took about 5 minutes for me to say to Anna, this is someone we want to work with. So Dana and I, over the last 2 years, have built a great friendship. She's come here to Charlotte a couple times. I've gone to Dallas a couple times, where she's located. And we've hung out and worked and strategized and planned. And we work with construction workers too, right, Dana? That's a little inside joke. But we worked with some people and we worked together and have really been, have become a pretty good dynamic duo with helping our offices. So Dana's here today to teach you some things that you can use to help your practice go to the next level. So Dana, I am going to turn it over to you. First question though I want to ask. A lot of practices are asking us, with the new PPE and the absorbed costs, can we or should we bill for PPE items? And how do we go about doing that if we're going to?
Okay. So you said can or should? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So can you? Absolutely. Yes. And I'll tell you guys how to do that. Should you? That's your call. That's going to be up to your practice. Yeah. So,
and on that note, there was a survey done of about 350 practices, and I believe the number was 48% were billing for PPE.
Okay. So the ones that can, or if you haven't opened up yet, or you're going to, what I suggest is you bill it out, but you bill it out for everyone. Please don't pick and choose. And I'm going to say that twice. Bill it for everybody. Don't pick and choose what insurance companies are going to pay. There's spreadsheets out there all over Facebook of people who are keeping track of what insurance companies pay, what don't. Please don't worry about that. Don't worry. Don't get hung up on that. What I want you guys to know is bill everybody every time. All right. So
for everything you do or don't do, record
correct.
it. Correct.
Absolutely. Period. So this just goes hand in hand with that. So the code that you can use is D1999. And you want to bill that to every patient, but you want to name this. It's called, and I want you to don't change the classification. So the unspecified procedure, don't change that classification to a different classification. So don't change the D1999 to say extra PPE fee. Don't do that. I want you to just call it the unspecified procedure. And then in the narrative, that's where I want you to say in the narrative that this is for COVID PPE charges. And then what you need to do in that narrative is break those charges down. So be specific. How much did the shield cost you? How much does the mask cost you? How much does the gown cost you? All that stuff. And I want that broken down into pieces. And then you bill that total amount under that code.
So that could be like an explode code, right?
Correct.
We used everything or we used partial.
Correct. So you could exactly. You could do. I would do an auto note with everything, and then auto note it in, and then take off what you didn't use.
And that can include things like sanitizer when they walk in, and
they include the mouth rinse that you used before you saw them. Everything is tied in. Everything. But you have to put that on the narrative. I need you to put that on the narrative.
And for those of you who are following along, on the bottom there's a chat bubble. I put in D199 for PPE. That's the PPE code, but as Dana said, you putting it under miscellaneous.
It's unspecified procedure.
But then you're going to use the narrative is where you're going to put PPE. So
correct.
It's in the chat bubble. If you need to, just hit the chat down on the bottom, and that'll open it up on your screens for those of you who want to. So
okay. So now what do we charge people? Okay. So I've seen them anywhere from $10 to $25.
And I've had offices that different insurances are paying anywhere between $8 and $30 on that. And Dana, the craziest one I heard, we have an office that we heard of that has a PPE tip jar. They have a jar with a note out that says that we've picked up extra costs for PPE. If you would like to donate to help us cover those costs, please do so. So they're not billing the insurance, but they actually have a tip jar out to do it. And
that's creative. That's creative. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's creative. Okay, there was one other thing. Okay, so 3 things can happen. All right, when you bill the insurance company. I'm not talking about your fee-for-service patients. Of course, they're going to pay. But 3 things can happen with an insurance company when you bill that out. The first thing that can happen is they pay it, and you're fine. The second thing that happens is they don't pay it, but they say it's an allowable charge, so you can charge the patient for it. Or the third thing that can happen is they deny it and you cannot bill the patient. So all those rules could apply with different insurance companies at any different time. Cigna started off not paying PPE, and now I'm seeing it starting to trickle in that they're paying. One of the things that I want you to write in the narrative is this is a COVID PPE extra charge. The reason why we want to say that is because this is going to be temporary. This isn't something that we're going to be able to do forever. So I want everybody to understand that some insurance companies have put time frames in as for when, you know, how long they're going to pay for PPE. So kind of keep that in mind when you're doing this, that this is going to be a temporary thing you can do.
Are you waiting for me?
Yeah, waiting for you, Kelly.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
There was no question.
I was texting. Okay, I'm sorry.
You're good.
All right. So another question that I get asked a lot, or that's been going on, is a lot of offices said, hey, you know, it doesn't make any sense to do any negotiation right now. I heard they're not negotiating fees. So why should I mess around with this?
Okay, so this is the best part, okay? So Kelly, you gave a window into the presentation here. So
Take it away.
Okay, so will insurance companies negotiate with us right now? Most of them will not. They won't. However, what's exciting about this is now is our time to plan, right? So a lot of the people that we come in contact with, they're not doing some of the foundational steps that set ourselves up for success for negotiations. So during this webinar, I'm going to tell you what those foundational steps are to be doing. And if you're not doing that, don't beat yourself up. Look at it as nice. I have a window of opportunity here to start these foundational steps so that I can get myself on track to negotiate. Now, insurance companies are starting to go back to work, so they will start opening up that window. They're going to be all over the board. Some might start next month, some might not start till November. So we're keeping our eye or our ear close to the ground for sure to see, you know, when most of them are open to be able to negotiate. So during the webinar, I'm going to talk about things too as far as what we can do right now to plan for that. So this is a great time. That being said, what I want you guys to know is now is not the time to leave networks. I mean, because we don't know, you know, what's going to happen. So I'm not telling anybody right now, even though I'm going to talk to you about how to leave a network. I don't want anybody, I mean, my personal opinion, Kelly, please let me know if you think different. Now is not the time to make knee-jerk reactions just because You're trying to make up ground.
Yeah, right now is the time to analyze what's going to work and what is not. And part of that is studying how many patients are going to come back and when. So for example, and I think what you're saying is, let's say we cut an insurance only to find out a lot of people have lost their job from other insurance and we have open time in the schedule. I'd rather get $75 than nothing for a $100 procedure.
Yeah.
But there are some tools, as Dana's going to show you, and that we can use within Dental Intel that we use a little differently, that can show you at least what we're dealing with or roughly how many patients you have with a particular insurance.
Correct. All right. Kelly, can I share my screen?
Absolutely. Let me go ahead and give you the power of the pen. More. All yours.
Okay. It's still telling me I'm disabled, Kelly.
You are now the host is what I got.
There we go. All right. Everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay. So Kelly, thanks so much for having me here. I'm excited to be able to share this content. Going to be giving a lot away today. So please take notes. Oh, thank you.
And we are recording, so.
Okay, good.
Don't use those bad words.
Please take notes. We'll have, I'm assuming, Kelly, we'll put some links on there. We've got some giveaways that I'm going to give away today, especially just for this webinar. So when you see the QR code come up or the link come up, please use those codes because that's letting me know what to share. Because I'm giving something extra for Kelly and for Kelly's webinar than I don't normally give out. So please don't go to our website and try to sign up for this stuff because you won't get it. So make sure you're using these webinar codes to be able to get these codes, okay? All right. So insurance is my game. I absolutely love dental insurance. I love everything about it. I know I'm kind of a sick human being, but I love it. I love reading an EOB. I like being a detective in a practice to be a money finder as far as PPO loss adjustments and things like that. So I know dental insurance pretty well. I'm super excited to team up with Kelly and work with his clients and vice versa. So we're going to talk about 3 things today. We're going to talk about actually DIY negotiations. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give you everything I got for you guys to do it yourself. Step 2 is we're going to talk about a strategy. How do we determine what plans to be in? Should we be in all of these? Should we not be in all the programs as far as the PPOs? We're going to talk about that, and that is going to be just a touch point that's going to lead into the plan of actions, meaning a strategic plan and an action plan for your practice to either A, add PPO insurances, or B, reduce our insurance dependency. So we'll start with negotiations. All right, so at the beginning, I talked to you guys about the foundational steps to negotiations. So we're going to talk about these, and to some of you on this webinar, you'd be like, yep, I'm already doing this. Yes, I'm already doing that. However, I want to get us all on the same ground because we're going to build on these foundational steps. If you are not doing these steps, I want you to start doing them tomorrow, okay? So the first thing is I want you to be billing your full office fees on insurance claims. So software, all the software that we work with has this ability. So we want to be billing our office fees, the insurance claims. There's numerous reasons why we want to do this. Number 1, you're never going to know if you get a higher fee schedule unless you're billing your office fees. There's an insurance company that starts with A, sounds like Aetna, that will actually give you an automatic increase and you won't even know it. So unless you're billing your full office fee, you'll never know. So if there's one thing you do from this webinar and you're not doing this right here, if you do this, you've made money in your practice. You will see allowables that weren't there, that you didn't think were higher, but they are. The second thing that you're going to do with this is when you bill primary and secondary insurance, you can keep, in most cases, up to your full office fee, even if you're a network with both insurances. And yes, bill your secondary, even if your primary pays it at 100%, because of that reason. So that's a whole other webinar, Kelly. Maybe we could do that another time. But I want you guys to know there's numerous reasons. Another reason is, and the reason why I want you guys to do this for this webinar is, if you are only billing your insurance allowables to the insurance companies and you try to ask for more from these insurance companies, they're going to tell you no. Because if you're not asking for more, you're not going to get more. So please be billing your full office fees on your claims. And number 4, it's contractual. Most of our insurance contracts state, please bill your office fee to us. All right. Now, fee balancing every year. This, I can't tell you how important this is. And when I say fee balance, I'm talking with data and a percentile. I don't want y'all to just say, I'm going to go up 3%. So I want you to fee balance. Now, what percentile you put yourself in, Kelly can work with you on that. I personally am a big believer of about the 80th percentile. Let me tell you why. Because insurance companies sell that percentile to employers. So if you are out of network with an insurance company and you bill for your pro fee, your 1110, and you bill $100 out, and the insurance company pays you that $100, your fees are too low because you have no idea what, and I hate these 3 words, UCR, because there is no such thing, but the UCR in an area could be higher than what your fees are. So the sweet spot is usually about the 80th percentile. So I personally purchased this information from Wasserman. Kelly, I can send you the link to that. We can put on the YouTube for everybody. I like to purchase the Wasserman. It's the NDAS. It's the most information and the best information as far as data. They have the most dentists submitting into their fee the clearinghouse that they pull their information from. So, and insurance companies use the same thing. Okay, they use the NDAS. Now, can you use another one to do that? Sure. I'm sure there's several out there. I know Charles Blair has one. I know that if you, Henry Schein, you know, different companies do insurance fee percentiles. I personally prefer NDAS. Kelly, do you have a preference? You're muted, Kelly.
Do my own thing.
There you
So
go.
I use you, Dana, and I'm Dr. Blair.
Okay. All right. So we personally like that data. It's accurate, and we find that nationwide, we get the closest to that. Now, if you're a specialist, okay, and I've worked with several specialists, so if you're a specialist, I want you in the 90th percentile. Okay. So let's talk about how this can affect our practice, because these are the 2 steps that I want you guys to do tomorrow. But let's say you get the information in the 80th percentile and your fees are in the 40th or the 50th percentile. You're going to look at me and say, Dana, there is no way I can do that. Now, because if you only have a small percentage of cash paying patients, or even if you have 50% cash paying patients, fee for service patients, I should say, then I want you to have an in-office membership or loyalty plan in place to offset these costs. So if you look at your information, your fees are really low, and you're like, yep, I need to go to this to offset those costs, those cash paying patients, I want you to install a membership or loyalty program. I'm going to let you know my opinion, and then I want Kelly to let you know his. I personally like Clear. It's KLEER, and Launch Loyalty. Now, the reason why I like a company to do that for our clients is they won't breach any of your insurance contracts. You have to be extremely careful on a statewide level to know what you can and you can't do in those membership plans. So those are the 2 that I like. Kelly?
So with membership plans, you know, depending on where you're at in which state and what some of the rules are, I like to do internal to save the money. Most states can. They're easy to administer. It's simply a couple scanning of a couple documents. And so I do it on a case-by-case basis, Dana.
Okay.
I don't like to give an in-house plan, save some money for the patient, and have to reduce fee and pay a membership fee to an administrator. That's the only reason behind it. Others like the hassle-free of it. When it comes to in-house plans, Anna and I are not a fan of any in-house plan that does monthly payments. So let's say I do payments of $39 a month for a year to be in-house plan. The problem with that is that's not the patient you really want to go after. Someone who has to be on a budget for $500 a year is not the client that you're trying to capture having an in-house plan. So we take a look at it. We charge a fee for our in-house program. It's a benefit to the patient who doesn't otherwise have insurance. It's paid up front or in 2 payments. And once those payments have been made for the plan, then they get the benefits of the discounted dentistry. Again, there's nothing wrong with some of these membership companies that do it, but where we can do it ourselves, we find it's more beneficial to you.
Okay, fair enough. So fee balancing, if you guys want us to purchase the information for you, it's $185. We don't mark that up. We charge what we pay for the services because that data actually helps us with success for negotiations. So if you can find it somewhere else less than that, go for it.
You asked me if there's other companies I use, and all of the same companies for the most part use Wasserman.
Yeah.
But Henry Schein, if you do their DPAT, Patterson has it. Almost all of them are using the same resource, but depending on your relationship that you have with your reps and what programs you're in, it may already be provided. But what Dana and I agree on is that you do want to keep up annually updating and staying on top of it every year. Something, by time you do it and actually implement it, you've already dropped the percentile. So if you're in the 80th percentile when you start this survey, most courses or most offices, by the time they actually follow through to implementation, it's been enough time that you're already behind. So
Correct.
timely is important.
And just for y'all out there, out of 100 clients that I work with, There are only, I'm going to tell you this, a handful, and I'm talking less than a handful of those who are actually at or above the 80th percentile. So please don't assume just because you've been raising your fees up a certain percentage every year that you're where you need to be. So please get this data. So these are the 2 foundational steps that I want you guys to start doing right away. So now let's talk about negotiations. So let's go back one more time. I'm sorry, let me go back here. If you haven't, now so let's talk about now, when can we negotiate? All right, so if you start billing if you haven't started billing your office fees, you start doing that tomorrow, or when you open back up, you start billing that, then I want you to wait 10 to 12 months before you negotiate. Please don't up your fees and then try to negotiate then, because the insurance companies know what you're charging. They've seen the last 12 months of information from you, and they're gonna call your bluff, and they're gonna say, sorry, these aren't your fees. We've seen what you've billed. So please back up your negotiations by 10 to 12 months so that they can see that those office fees coming to them. Now, if you are fee balancing, and let's say you're in the 60th percentile or above, I want you to wait for about 4 months. Okay, if you are below the 60th percentile, I want you to wait 6. I hope everybody understands that and how important that is. Because if you try to just do these right now and negotiate next week, your success will be diminished. Your success it'll be non-existent. So please take these foundational steps to heart and work on those. Good time to do that. So now you've been billing your office fees, or let's say you've been doing all of that all along. Here is a step-by-step guide to negotiations. All right, so first thing you want to know is, what insurance companies are you currently contracted with? Now, a lot of people are like, well, that's a silly question. Well, it really isn't, because I want you to use, when I say insurance company, it's synonymous with fee schedule. So I could ask you, what fee schedules are you currently contracted with? It's going to be the same thing, because the fee schedule is actually what you're contracted to with the allowables. Now, I'm only talking money. I'm not talking about dentistry or what are, any kind of philosophy there, but I'm just talking about the money parts. Okay, we're contracted to that fee schedule as far as what is the maximum we can charge. The second thing I want you to do is I want you to know how many patients you currently have with each insurance company or fee schedule. Okay, so you want to know, okay, you have Aetna, and I have 56 patients with Aetna, and I've got Cigna, and I've got 760 patients with Cigna. So you need to know those numbers. Now, I'm throwing some information at you here pretty quick, but I'm going to bring it all together here in a couple slides. So third thing is, do you want to negotiate with all these companies? Let's say you have 27 fee schedules. And just last week, we're working with a doctor who has 29 different fee schedules. So do we want to negotiate with all those 29, i.e. MetLife? Probably not going to spend a whole lot of time with MetLife, because everybody on this call, unless you are somewhere that has no dentist around you in a 10-mile radius, that MetLife isn't going to touch you. So I want to make a decision on which companies I want to negotiate with at first. Now, once you get really good at this, or you have somebody do it for you, then you can start nitpicking with the ones that aren't going to negotiate. So top 3 insurance companies that won't negotiate: MetLife, Delta Dental, and United Concordia. Now, United Concordia has put a fee schedule out there called the Elite Fee Schedule. So if you've gotten the Elite Fee Schedule with United Concordia, my hat's off to you. Nice job. So but you guys with United Concordia, they're on this call right now. Please don't call them and ask them for the Elite Fee Schedule. I was just putting that out there to let you know that there is lots of negotiations that we know professionally as our company has grown, and we've learned where we can negotiate and where we can't. So you need to make the decision, do I want to try to negotiate with these companies? Number 4, when was the last time you negotiated or received a new fee schedule with increased fees? Like I said, the one insurance company that starts with an A and sounds like Aetna, they will give you a new fee schedule, okay, in the mail. And if you do not respond to that fee schedule, you are locked in to those fees for the next 24 months. Okay, so what happens if the doctor opens the mail, doesn't really think it's important, tosses it away, and 30 days later, you're locked into these new fees? Well, if you're not billing your office fees, you're never going to know that. And then also, if you don't have that form, you can negotiate those automatic increases. So please don't take that automatic increase just because they gave you $2 more on your periodic. So you can negotiate those fee schedules that are given to you also. So keep that in mind. You do have a time frame. They're going to let you know on the cover letter how long you have to either A, this is going to become automatically your new fee, or B, you know, do you want to negotiate? So they'll say you have 30 days from the date of this letter to let us know if you're going to accept it. Okay, so number 5 is something I want you to keep in your back pocket. So investigate the competition within a 3 to 5 mile radius. So I'm in the Metroplex, DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth. I don't need to investigate my competition because we have a church and a dental office on each corner. So I don't have to research it. I know that there's going to be plenty of competition around me. However, if you have the luxury of being able to be the only one in a certain area, please research this. Keep this in your back pocket when you go to negotiations, because you can use this as a tool to try to get more insurance allowables, the higher ones. So I want you to gather this information, okay? So one thing you need to do too is you need to make sure that you're ready to negotiate with these insurance companies. So most of them are 24 months. Most of your contracts will state you have to wait 24 months. If you are in network with Connection Dental, great for you. They'll negotiate every 12 months. Guardian is being really, really sneaky right now and is actually giving a lot of our clients a bigger allowable, but then locking them into 36 months. A lot of people don't realize that you can negotiate those contracts too. So it doesn't mean, negotiations doesn't mean we're going to get what we want, okay? What it means is we're trying to get them to see our side. So we want to negotiate smart, and we need to know when we have to stop, because the last thing you want to do is, and I'll show you here in a second, make your reps not happy with you, because trust me, folks, there's notes on everything that we do with these insurance companies and who they speak to, okay? So if you're out there and you're not participating, you're considering going in network with some insurance companies, first thing I want you to consider is open share time. That's number 1. Kelly said it best just right there, is I'd rather get $75 for a procedure than 0 for a $100 procedure. So 0 is 0. You'll never recoup that. So if you have open share time, there's some opportunity there. Your local employers. So here in DFW, I can tell you right now the 6 networks you need to be in, because of the local employers that are in our area. And once you get a hold of those employers, figure out what their dental coverage is, and then go from there. And then again, investigate your competition. That's step 1. So that's a lot of data. It's a lot of information. But I want you, these are critical to do all of these steps, okay? So step 2. All right, so now we're preparing to negotiate. We have all of the information that we need. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to create a spreadsheet with your top 25 used codes, okay? Please listen really carefully. Do not send this with any email for the initial conversation. Again, this is another back pocket thing. Kelly, go ahead.
And Dina,
yeah.
If you're on Dental Intel, we can run a report of your 25 most used codes and how many counts you did with them. It's already done for you. So
That's
all
awesome.
we have to do is take it out of Dental Intel and put it on a spreadsheet. It's done.
Perfect. If you're not on DI, get on DI, because I'll tell you what, this is a lot. This is hard for some of my clients. So
yeah, it's very
I mean, those tools alone are worth it.
Yep.
Okay. So then what I want you to do is I want you to call your provider relations line of all the insurance companies that you want to deal with. Okay. Now, I don't want you to call member services unless you don't have a provider relations line. Okay. So you don't want to call member services and ask them these questions. You want to be talking to provider relations. Google is a great friend when it comes to this. We have contacts all over the country, so we know who to get a hold of. Every company has a different representative for your area, so you're going to have to find out who that is. So when you call them, I want you to ask this question: is there a local representative with Cigna that I would work with? Okay, so let's say they say, yep, there is. And if there is, I want you to get that rep's name, phone number, and email. Sorry, I don't have email up there. So please get their name, their phone number, and their emails. If they say no, there is no local rep for your area, I want you to ask, who do I need to speak with regarding a possible fee negotiations? Okay? So we're not negotiating yet. We're still prepping. We're still doing the groundwork, okay? But what I want you to do is I want you to call, if you are number three, the bullet point here, considering participation, I want you to call the representative and get a potential contract and fee schedule. Please, please, please don't just ask for a fee schedule. Because again, as you're going to see, we build relationships with these reps. You build relationships with them. They're not the enemy. Because guys, I'm going to tell you this, the more that insurance is on one fist and we're on the other, and we're button heads, the only winner here are the employers, okay? The insurance company's not the bad guy, believe it or not. So we need to make sure that we're picking the battles where we need to pick them, okay? So we need to treat our insurance reps with respect and being kind. Now, if you are currently participating, I want you to send an email out saying, oh, it's really nice to meet you, Ann Smith. I hear you're our rep here with Delta Dental, and I would like to get a current copy of our fee schedule. Could you send that to me? And that's how I want you to consider the conversation. That's it. That's all I want is your fee schedules. Then what I want you to do is get a hold of those reps, either ask them how do they prefer their communications. Do they like text? Do they like to talk? Or do they like a call? Or do they want to email? And keep very, very good notes to knowing how your rep likes to communicate. Most of the time, it's email. Most of the time, they like to email. So what I want you to do is super simple, is ask them, am I eligible for a fee schedule review? And they're going to let you know if you are or you aren't. And then you say, okay, well, what do I need to do? And every insurance company is different. Every insurance company has different ways to go about it. Some will give it to you just like that, and they're going to give you a new fee schedule. Some are going to say, well, on your letterhead, we need your tax ID, your NPI, type 1, type 2, and blood type of all DDS dentists so that we can look to see if you're eligible. So just keep in mind, it's all over the board. I don't have a step-by-step guide as far as which insurance companies do what. All that is just experience and doing it for years. So just know that you've got to get a hold of those reps to find out how they want to do that. Now, those right there, that's all just gathering data and being nice, okay? But these 5 rules are 5 emotional rules that I want you guys to follow. Now, these are probably the most important. If you don't make your spreadsheet, oh well. If you don't get your current copy fee schedule, oh well. But what I want you to do are do these 5 things. The first thing is I want you to be nice. Above all, be nice. Things like saying, well, there's no way we can do dentistry for these allowables that we've had for the last 15 years that we're still doing dentistry with, but now we no longer can. Let's don't throw that in your rep's face, because guys, these are people, these are human beings on the other end of the phone or at the email, and they're going to say, sorry, you're not eligible for a fee schedule review. So I want you to be nice.
So that reminds me of that Patrick Swayze movie, Roadhouse. When do I know not to be nice? I'll tell you when to not be nice.
Okay. Always be nice, Kelly. Always be nice. All right. So right here, these are my 2 college-age girls. They're now married. Well, one of them's married, one's getting married. Back then, this is how they were. They were always right. So back then, they didn't think mom knew anything. They were always right. You just want them to see your side. So I want you guys to know the insurance company is always right. We just want to negotiate and show them our side. Okay. So like I said before, don't strong arm them. And if you threaten to go out of network, you guys, most of the time, other than maybe Dentamax, most of the time they're going to say, see ya, and they don't care. So please don't threaten them unless you're going to go out of network. Okay. If you're going to go out, feel free to say we're going to be leaving your network, and then see what they'll do. But most of the time, 9.9% of the time, they're going to say see ya. You just want them to see your side. We love serving our community of Cigna patients. We love caring for them. We want to continue to do so. However, the allowables that we currently have are a little lower than what we'd like to see. Is there anything you can do to help our practice still serve the community of patients with Cigna? Please use their name a lot. Okay. Well, I got
guys, to Dana's point, it seems like you're begging a little bit in a way you are, but if you can get $2 a procedure over the course of a year, that money adds up. And
it does.
$1 or $2 here and there on 10 or 15 procedures, it's a 10x multiplier. So we have seen offices do this that have worked with us and then went with Dana, or that some of you are even attending today. And we get phone call after phone call about how these couple points really resonate and come home to be dollars in your pocket. It's an investment worth making.
Thank you, Kelly. And as you can tell, this humble picture here, humility goes a long way. These are all my daughters in my family. I want you guys to be humble. Please don't pretend like you know it all, because these reps are there. They're not just there to help our contracts and to help our fee schedule reviews. They're there to help us utilize their insurance company to the best of our ability. So these reps aren't there just for that. They're there to help us to be able to know how to do things with our contracts or with our, let's say you have a question regarding how this would work with that insurance company. Call them and ask them. These reps are there to help us, not just for these strategic things that we're talking about today. And please be humble. Please don't pretend you know it all, because we don't. And it's amazing what information, even to this day, that we get from insurance companies that we had no idea about, and we've been doing this for years. So we find new information all the time. So please be humble. This is my team. So build a relationship with them. Please build a relationship with your rep. As a matter of fact, we have a local rep here with Aetna, and she is wonderful, but she doesn't like to drive on ice. That was one of the things we learned about her. And we have little tickers on our calendars, like if we do get that, we reach out and we say, hey, so-and-so, we know today's a little icy, please be careful. So please build relationships with your reps. So we do all these things, right? And we use their name a lot. Okay, like I said in the emails, say community with Cigna, community with Delta, community with MetLife. Use their name a lot. So what do we do every day in our practice when we're seeing patients? What do we do every day? These 5 things. What does it sound like we do every day? We're building the relationship with the patient, correct? Well, I want you to do the same thing with your insurance reps, because that's at PPO, we've spent years building those relationships, and you need to do it yourself. Okay, build your relationships. Now, those steps that I just showed you, the step-by-step, I'm going to give those to you guys, okay? So right here, here's the link to that, and there's a QR code. You just take a picture of that QR code, it will send you right to our sign-up sheet. Now, you do have to sign up for our newsletter to be able to get these, but even if you go and you unsubscribe, you can do that too if you don't want to get everything, but I'm still going to give you guys these the step-by-step guides to be able to do this. All right, so please
have a QR code reader, take a screenshot. You can use it later. And this webinar will be on our YouTube channel.
Cool. And I think smartphones, if you actually just take a picture of the QR code, it'll actually come up. So feel free to do that.
If I could ask, some of you on here have kind of code names and I don't know who you are. I've sent a couple chat texts to a few of you that if you reach out and kind of let us know who you are, how you heard about us, we'd appreciate it. Just so we can keep you in the loop for future webinars and things that we're doing. So if you follow the chat on the bottom of your Zoom meeting, you might see a message privately from me.
Okay. Kelly, I'm not paying attention to the chat. So if you need to interrupt me because there's a question or anything, just let me know, okay?
I've got you. Thank you.
All right. All right. So now I want you guys to pay attention to this slide, okay? Because when I use the term write-off and adjustment, that's 2 different things.
Dana, your QR code was slightly cut off, just so you're aware.
Oh, I wonder.
Can you slide that up?
Let me see if I can go up here. Hold on.
And actually, if you'd like, Dana, you can just copy that QR code, send it to me, and we'll post it on our Facebook page.
Okay, there you go. Is it there?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Give you just a couple seconds here real quick if you guys just want to take a picture of that. Sign up for the newsletter and the downloads will come right to you after that. So if you do that right now, you're going to get a little bit more, and we haven't gotten there yet because there's one more giveaway that I want to give away. So if you guys do that right now and you're in there doing that and you're going to get more, you don't know what that next thing is, please keep watching. All right. So do you know the difference between a write-off and an adjustment? Okay. A write-off is the number that we take for being in network with an insurance company. It's the write-off amount between the insurance allowable and our office fee. That's a write-off. Okay. An adjustment is anything we do after the fact. After we get the insurance check, an adjustment is anything that affects our bank account, whether it's up or down, right? So when I hear adjustment from doctors, I always like to ask, are you sure we're not talking about a write-off? So I want you guys to know the difference between this. A write-off is our difference between our in-network rate and our office fee. An adjustment is anything we do after the fact that affects the bank account, whether up or down. Kelly, do you have any questions about that, or anybody saying anything about that? Okay, Kelly, you need to unmute yourself.
No, but I've made a note so that when this is over, I'm going to show you also where you have this in Dental Intel.
Perfect.
So that you can be monitoring as well.
Okay, so the write-off is really important. Don't get me wrong, it's the write-off. The adjustments are what the scary number is. So if you're adjusting, when you're getting that insurance check and you're having to adjust, because I know this never happens in anybody out there, the rep told you they were going to use the connection dental fee and you come back and you automatically get the Dentamax fee, then you have to do an adjustment because the EOB is the Bible. Okay, so just because the rep tells you something, they pay you on another, that is an adjustment type, whether up or down. So another reason why I want you to bill your office fees to the insurance company, not just their allowables. Okay.
Dana, do you know in the big three practice management softwares whether you can code it to write-off versus adjustment?
I know that EagleSoft automatically will give that to you because the write-off is automatically calculated and you can go to your management reports and figure that out.
But let's say I do an in-house plan where I consider that a write-off instead of an adjustment. Do I have the option?
No.
Thank you.
No. So you would, that would be something that you would make an adjustment type for, and then that wouldn't be counted as an adjustment. It would be counted as a write-off. That would just be something you'd have to do manually, unfortunately. Good. Hey, Kelly, my wheels are kind of turning now. It might be something kind of cool to look into. Okay. So number 2, strategies. Now we're going to touch real briefly here, okay? Because I want to get right into plan of actions. All right. So first thing I want you to do is I want you to know what plans your patients have. Now, if we've already figured that out because of negotiations, we already have that in our information. We already have that. We don't need, it doesn't matter. Research major employers in the area and what plans they offer. And the most important one is know your umbrella plans or your TPAs, your third-party administrators. Umbrella plans are things like Connection Dental, Carrington, DHA, Sun Life, Principal, Aetna, Guardian, you name it, it's out there. There's a lot of them, and you need to know them. So if you don't know them, educate yourself or hire somebody who knows them. So you've got to know your umbrella plans to know where to strategically place yourself. Because I'm going to teach you here something in this next slide that's going to be real eye-opening as far as these umbrella plans and TPAs. Initially, whoever thought of this, okay, was a genius. Okay, so as a matter of fact, like GEHA, Connection are married, right? So Connection is a umbrella, but it also is an insurance company, and companies lease underneath their umbrella. Now, Dentamax is just a fee schedule. Dentamax, there's just numbers in certain areas, right? So you'll see that you probably have fee schedule 4 or schedule 3. Just as a side note, if you have schedule 3 and they try to give you schedule 8, don't take it. Anyway, so sorry, that was a big squirrel. But the umbrella plans, what they do is they contract dentists to abide by this fee schedule, and then they contract the insurances to be able to umbrella those plans, so you're only dealing with one fee schedule, not 17. So let's talk about that here in just a little bit. All right, here's an example. So I'm going to talk about Connection Dental or Dentamax. All right, so we just talked about Connection Dental is GEHA. It's an insurance company, and they lease out their fee schedule. Dentamax is not an insurance company. Dentamax is just a fee schedule. So remember that when you see that, you're not calling Dentamax to verify insurance benefits. You're actually calling the insurance company, but you're held to the Dentamax fees if you're in network. So some of these right here, these are umbrellaed under both of these plans, okay? But these are some of the insurance companies that you can umbrella under these TPAs to get higher allowables. That is one strategy, okay? And always they're plan specific and region specific. All right, so the pros to doing this, higher allowables. That's the biggest pro. And less fee schedules to keep up with. Okay, so if you have, and I'm going to challenge you guys right now, if you have any more than 8, and I'm going to give you 9 because I know some of you are United Concordia, and that's a great community service. Great community service. So Please, I'm going to give you guys that because we want to serve our military, and I understand, but please don't think you're going to make any money there, because it's a community service. And I tell all my dentists who say, well, I need to participate, wonderful. I'm super excited that you do that, and that we serve our military by doing that. Less fee schedules to keep up with. 8 or 9 at the most, guys. That's it. 8 or 9 at the most. All right, the cons. You're not at the top of the network list. So if you want to be a network, say you're in Connection and you drop Aetna because Connection's better. I'm just throwing stuff out there. Again, you guys, everybody's going to have different allowables. So please don't be like, oh my gosh, Gina, my Aetna fees are great. Well, your Aetna fees may be great, but somebody else on this webinar's Aetna fees could be terrible. So please keep that in mind, okay? But you're not going to be at the top of any network lists by doing it this way. And some patients that were out of network will now be in network. This is a big, big thing to know, that if you go into an umbrella plan, some of your out of network patients will now be considered in network through an umbrella. So keep that in mind. Delta Dental does not umbrella or lease out a fee schedule. Delta Dental is its very own beast, just like we all know this, but they don't lease their fee schedule out, and they don't umbrella on anybody else. All right, so let's say you're in network with a bunch of umbrellas, and you have not direct contracts, but a bunch of umbrellas, so they layer it. So let's talk about what a layering example looks like. All right, so we're gonna make some assumptions here. We're gonna make assumptions that we're not in direct network with United Concordia. Now, I'm gonna exclude DoD plans because they're in its own class. So please, we're just talking United Concordia, and you're not in direct with them, but you're in network with DNOA, Dynamax, and DHA. All right, so how they're going to layer that is they're going to pay you on the lowest fee schedule that you have, that you are contracted with, okay? We're gonna pretty much safely assume that DNOA is the lowest of these options. Again, if you have great DNOA fees, perfect, but we're gonna assume DNOA is your lowest. So they're gonna pay you on the DNOA fee schedule. Let's say you're in network with Dentamax and DHA, they're going to pay you on the Dynamax fees. Let's say you're in network with DNOA and DHA, they're gonna pay you on the DNOA fees. Does that make sense? Can everybody understand that? If you're only contracted with one of these umbrellas, that is what you would use. So if you're only in network with DHA, United Concordia, other than the DoD plans, will be umbrellaed with them. Now, I know that was really quick and a lot of information, but I really wanted to get into this part right here, because this is where the rubber meets the road. This is what sets us apart as far as how we help practices strategically plan what networks to join and what networks to release. Again, right now is not the time to do that, okay? Not the time to drop any networks, but it's absolutely the time to gather all of this information. So we're gonna evaluate the plans and we're gonna do the math. This is the spreadsheet that we use at PPO. So see these top codes right over here? This is just a practice that we picked, right? Top use codes right here. The next column is the times that these codes were used in 12 months. Now, it sounds like Dental Intel can do a lot of this for you, Kelly, right? So you can get this information what's that, Kelly? Okay, Kelly, unmute yourself, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna show you when we're done.
Okay, perfect. Because if you don't have DI, this is extremely time consuming, extremely time consuming. So, and then here in column C, you can see the office fees. Now, we use Carrington as an example, their allowables. What percent of Carrington's, what are they paying of our office fees, and what does that dollar amount mean? So if you look below here, we've created this spreadsheet to see active patients, the number of patients in that plan, and then we calculate approximate income from those insurance companies. Now, DI can tell you exactly what it is. So that's another really cool tool that DI has. For argument's sake right now, I just want to show you that this is the information that we put together to help you come up with a plan of action of what to drop. Now, this is what it looks like as far as you can see here, the percentage of patients, the percent of the insurance of what they're paying, and then how we determine what plans to keep and what plans to drop. And then what we're going to do is we're going to send you that in a Word document. Now, you can put all of this together. You can do this all yourself. It's a lot of work. but you can do this. So I'm not telling you that you have to hire a company to do this. You don't. You can do it yourself. But you've got to know what umbrellas go under which. You've got to know what income is coming in from that insurance company. There's things that you need to know because there's a huge risk when you're doing a plan of action for your practice. All right. So one of the things I want to share with you right now, and I'm gonna minimize this real quick, okay? Because I want to show you guys something else. So here, this is what we use for plan of actions. So we use Trello. We love using Trello. Kelly's heard me say that numerous times. What you're going to get from us is you're going to get this, instead of this calling webinar POA examples, you're going to have your practice information in here. We're going to send you a PDF of step-by-step plan of actions. What are the foundational steps that you need to do? Number one, here's the plan, and then step-by-step, stage one, okay? This one was this, then drop dental select. And we'll let you know what umbrellas that you have or what umbrellas you need to go and network with to increase your revenue, okay? Now, this strategic plan is actually 18 months long, this one here in specifically, okay? But I want you guys to know that it could be up to a 3-year plan, okay? So keep that in mind. Gotta move this a little bit, sorry. We're also going to give you letters to the insurance company. You will see that we've designed these insurance companies, the letters to the insurance companies about going out of network. We're going to give those to you. And Kelly, I know you may have some of these, so you can use ours, you can use Kelly's, but the letter to the patient, when we do drop a plan completely out, we're going to give you an example of what to say to the patient. And then we're also going to give you an example of letters. If you go under umbrella plan, those 2 different letters are very important. So if you're going completely out of network, it needs to look different than if you're going under umbrella plan. So those letters look entirely different going out to your patients. All right. We're also going to help you with some little scripting as far as when you drop insurance companies, what to say. And Kelly, I know that you probably have some of this, but we give that to our negotiate when we do plan of actions with us.
We use yours, Dana, because you're the best.
Oh, thank you. Stop it, Kelly, stop it. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back. I'm going to do a new share. Sorry, guys, I chased a squirrel there and I want to go back. Where's my? There we go. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so steps to drop plans, and I want you to do this in this order. This is extremely important. The first step is I want you to contact your provider relations. I want you to send them a letter of requesting an effective drop date, okay? I don't want you to do anything else until you get that effective drop date, okay? So that's the first step. After you get that effective drop date, then I want you to contact the patients that are going to be affected, okay? The reason I don't want you to do it all at the same time is because please don't get your hopes up. Please don't. This is not going to happen. Just say it's not going to happen. However, some insurance companies may say, what's it going to take to keep you? Do not use this as a strategy to negotiate. Please. I want you, this is what you're doing when you're dropping plans. If they offer you a higher fee schedule, then go back into your spreadsheet, do the math, and figure out if you want to keep that insurance company or not, that fee schedule. But if they give you a drop date, they say, see you later, I want you to contact the patients after that. Now, if it's only a handful of patients, 20 or less, please call them and send them a letter. Because it's really, you should let our patients know. I'm a big believer in letting them know 6 months beforehand when they're coming in that you're going to be under an umbrella next time you come. So they know what that means when they get those letters. So planning, letting your patients know, communicating with your patients is super important when you're trying to strategize putting yourself in higher allowables. Now, I wouldn't tell the patient I'm going because it's higher allowable. I would just let them know that my relationship with that insurance company is changing. Okay? All right. So these 3 letters that I just talked to you about, drum roll, please. There's the one to the insurance company. There's the one to the insurance company or to the patient. You're going out of network. And here's the one of the name of the umbrella company. And here it is, guys. I'm going to give them to you. I'm going to give them to you. So if you'd like them, again, there's a QR code and there's the link. So that's the other thing that I was going to give you guys in addition to the steps of negotiations. So I'm going to give these to you guys so you guys can use these, edit them, make them your own. Don't use them, whatever you want to do, but they're yours to have. Okay?
And just so you know, Dana normally charged for this. So as a favor to Schwartz Consulting Group and as partner, this is a big giveaway. So thank you, Dana.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, this is going to be exclusive for this webinar. So just for you guys to know. Okay? All right. So there's no need to be connected to 15 to 20 different fee schedules. Okay? Being in direct network with a few and the right umbrella plans, you can encompass most of the plans in 6 to 8 fee schedules. Again, I'm going to give you 9 if you want to be in United Concordia. I'm fine with that. But we can encompass most of your patients with that many fee schedules. Okay? If you analyze your patients, your fee schedules, and your umbrella options, there can be minimal patient attrition, meaning I'm not going to lose a patient out the back door because I chose to completely go out of network. Now, there are some insurance companies that won't give you an out-of-network benefit, so those patients you're probably going to lose because they have to go to a participating provider. Most of the time, you guys, most of those times are the lowest fee schedules you have in the practice. And what's going to happen in this crazy world is other insurance companies are going to know you're getting paid under this ridiculously low fee schedule, and insurance companies are going to lease that fee schedule out. Okay, so the insurance world changes on a daily basis. But please keep in mind that with the right plans and strategizing, there's going to be minimal patient attrition. All right, when you put in the work and you build a solid foundation in your practice, you'll have higher allowables, fewer fee schedules to manage, and minimal patient attrition. Now, when you have fewer fee schedules to manage, your AR is manageable. Your adjustments go down. Your adjustments up and your adjustments down, okay, this is a little side squirrel, should be 0, okay? You should have adjustments up and you should have adjustments down, and they should be almost at 0, okay? And our team can help you how to do this. If you have any questions, guys, thank you so much for spending your time. This is Joy's email. If you have any questions, I'll answer them now. I'm not leaving. But if you have any questions, like if you think about it overnight and you're like, oh man, I wonder about this, you can email joy@ppodentalconsulting.com. And here's the link again and the QR code for the handouts that I wanted to give you guys today.
So Dana, if you could pass back the screen to me.
You got it.
All right, and I am going to share my screen. You're still sharing your screen. Can you stop sharing your screen and give me this?
I thought I did. Did I not?
I can steal it from you.
Steal it from me because I thought I did. Sorry, Kelly.
You didn't. Can't get it.
Hold on. Share.
Reclaim host. I found it.
Okay, got it.
Think so.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so a couple things real quick. If you look right here, if you go to, Dana talked about the top 20 or so procedures. If you go here to reports and we do the time frame, let's say we want to do January 1st of 2019 to December 31st of 2019, we can do a report by procedure count and generate. And just this quickly, it tells you what your top 20 codes are and how many you have done. So that's one tool. The other, Dana was talking about write-offs and adjustments in a particular month. Here we look at write-offs and adjustments, and you can see they have everything under adjustments, but some of them are professional discounts, senior discounts. You got to do a little breakdown, but we do have that at your fingertips. The last thing, and I'm only going to show you real quick just because here in Patient Finder, we can go in here and add the filter, and all we want to see is what is their primary insurance is or is not. And from there, we can use some filters and it'll show us all of our insurances that we have. So we'll close a lot of these titles down, and all we want to see is a particular insurance. Just got to clear this off. Primary insurance is all we want to know. Who has what? So now what this has done is separated all our insurances for us, and we can then export this into a spreadsheet and then sort how many patients we have in what insurance. So I just wanted to show you that these are a few of the things that we have available for you to try to help you.
Perfect.
Okay? So we are going to go ahead and open up the speakers and take any questions. First of all, Dana, great job. As always, you are a rock star when it comes to this stuff, and I can't believe how much you gave away. So
I know.
I'm unmuting everybody, and any questions that anybody has, feel free to unmute yourself, and we're happy to take those calls or those questions. Okay. I'm not one to dilly-dally around. So reach out to me. I'll put you in touch with Dana, or reach out to Dana directly. We will be putting this information up on our YouTube page by the end of the day tomorrow, usually. We'll have that up. Please follow us. It'll also be on our Schwartz Consulting Group Facebook page. So follow us on Facebook, follow us on YouTube, and you'll have access to this. Some of you who were on this webinar that we don't necessarily know your name, but you've got codes and so forth as your sign in, please reach out to us and let us know so we can keep you in the loop. So
okay.
Thank you.
Kelly,
very
real
much.
quick, there's a question really quick. Can I answer it?
In Michigan, how hard is it to go from out of network to a premier provider with Delta?
Okay.
This is our friend and yours. So
okay. In Michigan, we have had success with out-of-network providers becoming premier-only dentists. If you're in another state, I'm really super sorry, but Michigan is a state that we've had some success with. So how hard is it? It's not. You hire us, and we're going to do our best to make it happen. We've actually been able to do it now for a couple of dentists. One of them's actually on this webinar, I think.
Yep.
Where we were able to get them premier status.
And
so
you can't guarantee it, but you've had success doing it.
Correct. Absolutely. Michigan only. Michigan only.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
You're welcome.
Thank you, everybody. You have a wonderful day.
All right. Thank you, guys.